This is Ira, and welcome to Ocean Liners on Print, where we travel through ocean liner history via my collection of ocean liner memorabilia. In this video, we will explore the SS Nassau of the Incrus lines. The Nassau was acquired by the Incrus lines in 1950. Originally, it was the P&O Mongolia of 1923. Its exterior was outdated by 1920 standards. We will compare. Just look at these ships built in the 1920s. The Vulcania, the Matsonia, which was formerly the Malolo, the Bremen and Europa, the Ile-de-France, the Gripsholm, the Statendam, and the Argentina. Compare these ships to the Mongolia/Nassau. Place your comments in the comment box below. By the time the Incrus line bought the ship, it really looked out of style, beyond dated. But the Incrus line invested in changing the ship to a cruise ship of modern standards. The cargo holds were converted into two swimming pools that were placed on one spacious deck area, which they called the Lido deck. The ship was also fully air-conditioned thanks to Incrus investing in this upgrade. So, to have both outdoor swimming pools and complete air conditioning was a combination few ships in 1951 had. The Nassau was listed at 24,400 tons. If you think about it, that's less than 1/10 of today's Icon of the Seas. But for a Caribbean cruise ship of that time, it was an average size. In this 1957 Golden Week to Nassau and Havana brochure, a more modern sketch of the ship is shown as compared to reality. Here is a broadside photograph of the ship. No photographic technique to spice things up a little. A dead-on broadside angle was not complementary to the Nassau's appearance. Note, on the 1957 schedule, the May 24th cruise is a holiday cruise as it occurs around Decoration Day. That is today referred to as Memorial Day. Tuesday, November 4th, is an eastbound voyage to Italy. This is probably where the ship goes for its annual maintenance and dry docking. The ship would sail without passengers. Today, a cruise line would charge a low fare to attract revenue on what they would call a repositioning cruise. Quote, steamer sails from and arrives at Pier 42 North River, foot of Morton Street, New York. Close quote. The Nassau's appearance screamed steamer. The most important of all, quote, but they served after departure, close quote. Under accommodations and passage rates, one way either to or from Nassau is offered. This enabled passengers to spend as much time in Nassau as they wish. See air exchange. The Incrus Nassau line, British Overseas Airways Corporation, Eastern Airlines, Pan American Airways, and National Airlines. If you book one way to or from Nassau by the SS Nassau and travel the other way via the listed airlines, you would get a 10% discount off the air portion. So even in this pre-jet age, Incrus Line was partnering with airlines to offer passengers flexibility and savings. Here we have pictures of the swimming pool, Lido bar, and a stateroom with actual beds. Under general information, travel documents. Quote, passports are not required for citizens of the United States aliens admitted for permanent residence in the United States, Canadian citizens and British subjects domiciled in Canada but should have in their possession proof of citizenship and or legal residence. All others must hold valid passports with necessary visas, close quote. Today, passengers are required to have passports as Nassau is another country separate from the United States. Quote, staterooms less than capacity. The company reserves the right to decline the sale of a room for less than full capacity, close quote. Baggage allowance, 20 cubic feet per full fare. Seats in the dining room. Quote, seats will be assigned by chief steward at time of embarkation, close quote. Like most ships of the time, assigned seating as the dining room was the only food venue outside of the buffet. Porter service. Quote, this company provides and pays porters to handle your baggage to and from the ship, and to taxi or other conveyance at the pier front or to the baggage transfer company desk. These employees must wear a company badge with an identifying number. This service is free and tipping is not required. It is customary. Any demand by porters for a fixed fee is contrary to our regulations and should be refused. Any discourtesy or otherwise unsatisfactory service on the part of the porter should be immediately reported to the baggage master, giving him the porter's number, close quote. So, if one used the services of a porter and didn't leave a tip, it probably wouldn't be a good idea for a porter to say, quote, is there anything wrong with my service? Close quote. Automobiles. Quote, rates for transportation of unboxed automobiles accompanying passengers as passengers, regardless of weight, one way at $165 or round trip at $250. Close quote. Quote, automobiles cannot be booked to or on from Havana, close quote. I don't know what this means. Are they saying that you can't take your car off the ship at Havana or you can't rent a car in Havana? What are your thoughts? Put your comments in the comment box below. By the way, $250 round trip to ship a car is a great price compared to transatlantic carriers of the day that would charge nearly double. It's still a lot of money in $1957. Dogs. Quote, dogs 6 months of age or under cannot be accepted because of quarantine regulations at Nassau. Close quote. Quote, rates for transportation of a dog over 6 months of age when accompanying a passenger are one way $10, round trip $20. Health and rabies inoculation certificates, which must include indication of age of the animal, are required. These certificates should be over 10 days and not more than 6 months old and must be signed by a qualified veterinarian. Certification by a British consul is not necessary. No animals are allowed in passenger staterooms or public rooms. As only a limited number of kennels are available, reservations must be made in advance. Close quote. Chaplain. Quote, the Nassau carries a Roman Catholic chaplain. Close quote. Physician. Quote, the SS Nassau maintains a fully equipped hospital staffed by a qualified physician and registered nurses. Close quote. Separate men's and women's hospitals are on board, as we will see later as we tour the deck plane. Delayed or sailing cancellation. Quote, in the event of strikes, lockout, riots, or stoppages of labor for whatever cause or for any other reason whatsoever, the company, at any time, may cancel, advance, or postpone the cruise or call at any port and shall not be liable for any loss whatever to cruise members by reason of such cancellation, advancement, or postponement. Close quote. This clause is similarly worded in other ships' brochures of the era. In another brochure, SS Nassau, 16 days, West Indies Lido cruise, September 27th 1957. In this partial fold, quote, 7 ports of call, close quote. They keep you in suspense, almost like clickbait from a bygone era. They don't tell you up front what the ports are. This port view reveals just how dated the Nassau looked by 1957 standards, and even by 1920 standards when the ship was first placed into service. We open another fold in the brochure and still no mention of what 7 ports the Nassau will sail to. More clickbait. The suspense is unbearable. Quote, America's favorite cruise liner, close quote. Key bragging points include completely air-conditioned, gracious Italian crew and officers, the largest Lido deck afloat with 2 pools, scintillating entertainment, costume balls, and late evening dancing in the Continental Room. When we unfold the brochure one more time, we found the destinations: Nassau, Port-au-Prince in Haiti, Curacao, Port of Spain, Trinidad, Martinique, St. Thomas, and San Juan. Quote, fun beneath the golden sun, close quote. Now that sounds like a tagline they derived in the TV series Mad Men. SS Nassau, Incres Nassau Line. Home Lines was their agent at 42 Broadway. That was Ocean Liner Headquarter Row. From 1 to 50 Broadway, you had the offices of Furnace Line, Cunard Line, International Mercantile Marine Company, which was the parent company of White Star, Red Star, Atlantic Transport Line, American, and Dominion Lines. And just off Broadway, in the vicinity of these other shipping line headquarters, was the office of the Munson Lines. Quote, the SS Nassau is one of the largest liners entered in regular cruise service, close quote. As this brochure was printed in 1955, this was before steamship lines were forced to scramble transatlantic and point A to point B service and repurpose ships for cruising. In 1955, when it came to year-round cruising, at least from New York to the Caribbean or Bermuda, you had the Queen of Bermuda at 22,000 tons and the Nassau at 24,000 tons. Then there were ships like the Ocean Monarch at 13,000 tons and Eastern steamships vessels at 8,000 tons or less. So, at the time, the claim of the Nassau being one of the largest liners entered in regular cruise service is a fair representation. Quote, every cabin, the dining room, and other public rooms are air-conditioned, close quote. This is a bragging point, and of course, the entire ship was air-conditioned. At that point in time, especially in 1951, when the ship started sailing for Incres, there were still many ships that did not have air conditioning, and some, if they had air conditioning, it was only limited to the dining room and maybe 1 or 2 other public rooms. Quote, and in the Nassau's selection of attractive staterooms and suites, sunny promenades, and inviting lounges, you will find assembled all comforts, facilities for recreation, fun, and good fellowship of cruise life at its radiant best. Close quote. The wordsmith who composed this is painting a convincing argument for choosing the Nassau. Quote, above all, you will find the Nassau a companionable ship, happily designed to make each hour at sea a delightful adventure. You will join congenial shipmates under bright beach umbrellas on the largest Lido deck afloat for a swim in either of 2 magnificent outdoor pools. You will meet them for refreshments in the intimacy of the colorful cocktail lounge or for dancing and entertainment at the smart Continental Room. And at mealtime, you will exclaim with them over the really outstanding food and the tempting variety of each day's abundant menu. Close quote. They are really painting a fantastic picture. Congratulations to the wordsmith who designed this brochure. And now, a deck plan of the SS Nassau from 1955. The deck plan mentions some statistics and features. 24,400 tons, 573 feet long, the Nassau being completely air conditioned, public address system, daily news by radio, the largest Lido deck afloat, cabins in all public rooms air conditioned, hot and cold running water, gift shop, barber shop, beauty parlor, full laundry and valet service, daily concerts, nightclub entertainment, cruise director and hostess, pre-release movies, deck sports, crap shooting, ship-to-shore telephone radio communication. This is many decades prior to the internet revolution, and still, people still had the need to be connected with people ashore. Radar echo sounding apparatus, lowest passenger deck 12 feet above the waterline. I don't know about that feature. To me, I kind of think of the movie Titanic when the character Jack is chained in the prison around the pike and the porthole is already below the waterline. So let's finally tour the Nassau through its deck plan. First, we have Sun Deck, which is a lounging area. Then, the Sports Deck. The only thing noted on this deck is the rear docking bridge, lifeboats, and the radio station. The upper promenade deck consists of the famous Lido deck surrounding both pools. The Incrus line claimed that this Lido deck was the largest outdoor pool deck on any ship of the era. The Lido bar, upper promenade, continental room, bamboo room, nightclub. The upper promenade deck was dedicated to public space. Writing room, novelty shop, and lounge. Note, no elevators on the ship. On the promenade deck, separate female and male hospitals, barbershop, beauty parlor, all outside staterooms with private facilities which are designated in blue. The promenade deck was where premium cabins were on the Nassau. Purser's office and suites, which are designated in pink. Main deck, a mixture of staterooms with and without private facilities, banks of public toilets and showers, typical stateroom aboard the Nassau. Dining room and staterooms, all with private facilities. The dining room was the main dining venue on board, with the exception of buffets. And staterooms, all with private facilities. We're finished with the main deck. And now the A deck, where we start up with the pink cabins, which lack private facilities, followed by blue cabins with private facilities, followed by the pink cabins without private facilities. The blank spaces where engine room machinery resides. And then we continue with more cabins. Once again, the pink cabins without private facilities, blue with private facilities, and of course, another bank of pink cabins without private facilities. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the SS Nassau through its deck plan. Bring your appetite as we are going to review highlights of a dinner menu from the Nassau from Monday, May 22nd, 1961, its last season. Supreme Sea Wolf au Pomery. Breaded veal steak Milanese, sauteed potato. Roast Royal Rock Cornish hen, broiled lamb chops, grilled calf's kidney, and pork sausages. Check out the cold buffet. Roast beef, roast leg of lamb with mint jelly, brisket of beef.
What did you like most about the SS Nassau? Being able to take cruises from 7 to 16 days to the warm, sunny Caribbean. Gracious Italian crew and officers. The largest Lido deck afloat with 2 swimming pools. Lowest passenger deck 12 feet above the waterline. Separate male and female hospitals. Radar echo sounding apparatus. Place your comments in the comment box below. Remember to hit the subscribe button to receive alerts for the latest engaging ocean liner content. Thank you from Ocean Liners on Print.